KSAT 12. The Nightbeat starts right now.
Another week, another coronavirus vaccine now fully approved in the United States. The Food and Drug Administration signing off on the Moderna vaccine tonight.
Next week, the first shipment of 6 million doses are expected to arrive to facilities across the country, and that includes San Antonio. According to the state, Bexar County is set to get more than 30,000 doses of the Moderna vaccine.
We do expect that many of the other vaccine providers who have enrolled are also getting a larger shipment, particularly of the Moderna vaccine, since it doesn't require the ultra-frozen storage and therefore could go to more places.
According to Texas Health and Human Services, many pharmacies and clinics are expected to get doses of vaccine in this next distribution. Several of the smaller surrounding counties are also on the list to get doses of the Moderna vaccine next week.
As we've been saying, there are some differences between these vaccines. Moderna's vaccine approved for people ages 18 and up. The Pfizer vaccine can be used on people as young as 16. Moderna's 2 doses given 28 days apart. Pfizer's are given 21 days apart. And as we mentioned earlier, Moderna's vaccine can be held in a regular freezer at just -4 degrees, while the Pfizer vaccine must be held in a special freezer at -94 degrees. Both vaccines are more than 90% effective as long as both doses are used, and both utilize something called messenger RNA.
Well, let's take a look at where we stand with coronavirus cases here at home. The 7-day average still remains above the 1,000 mark, meaning we are still seeing at least 1,000 new cases of coronavirus a day. 2 new deaths were also reported. 832 COVID-19 patients are in the hospital. 275 are in the intensive care unit, and 140 are on ventilators.
A short-term deal passed tonight to keep the government open for 2 more days. Lawmakers now hoping to use that extra time to nail down a COVID relief package and attach it to a more permanent spending bill. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez tracking it all for us tonight.
With just hours left before a partial government shutdown was set to begin, Congress buying itself more time, voting to extend the deadline to reach an agreement on a COVID relief deal.
We're very close to an agreement, but the details really matter.
The nearly $900 billion aid package is tied to a larger federal spending bill. Congress now has until Sunday at midnight for a deal to be struck, dragging out the already months-long wait for millions of Americans depending on financial help.
If this country means anything, if democracy means anything, if the U.S. government means anything, it means that we cannot turn our backs on this suffering.
The bill is expected to include $300 weekly federal unemployment benefits and a $600 direct payment to many Americans. More than 10 million Americans stand to lose part of their unemployment benefits if a COVID relief deal isn't reached by the end of next week, only adding to the desperate situation so many are already facing.
People are driving upwards of an hour to 2 hours to get here and then sitting in a line for 3 to 4 hours before they're able to get their box of food.
Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Los Angeles.
New on the Nightbeat, a San Antonio man says he's still paying for a crime he never committed. San Antonio police arrested Eduardo Lopez last week after they said he was involved in a hit and run. But there was a problem. SAPD had the wrong Eduardo Lopez, and after they realized the error, the charges against him were dropped. The night team Stephen Cavazos sat down with Lopez, who says the mistake has ruined his life.
I said, you know my situation, and you will take care of it.
Prayers Eduardo Lopez believed would clear his name. The husband and father of 4 boys says it was a door knock that turned their world upside down. Lopez says on December 8th, San Antonio police arrived to his home and arrested him in front of his family. It all stemmed from a hit-and-run crash that happened on December 2nd near Fredericksburg and Deschantley. Lopez arrest affidavit says the driver of a black pickup truck was to blame for the crash. Police said the truck was insured under an Eduardo Lopez, but it was expired. Lopez told police he didn't own a truck. Police told him he was picked up in a photo lineup and he matched the description of the driver. So he was charged with 2 felony counts for failure to stop and render aid. His bond was set at $15,000. Lopez says he used all his savings to make bail, money he planned on using to buy his son's Christmas gifts.
I felt powerless. I couldn't do nothing.
But earlier this week, Lopez says he received a call from a detective who told him they had the wrong guy and that another Eduardo Lopez does exist, but is from Mexico. The charges against Lopez were dropped, but he says nothing will fix what's been done to his reputation.
I think I went to hell and back.
Lopez is a self-employed contractor, but says since his arrest, he's had trouble finding work. His family has been left with little to no money.
It went down the drain in one day.
Lopez says he did receive a phone call from Police Chief William McManus, who apologized for the wrongful arrest. Lopez bears no ill will toward police. Although he is grateful to be home for the holidays, he is unsure if he will be able to find work.
Just take it one day at a time.
Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News.
San Antonio police declined to comment any further on this case, only saying there is an active investigation.
An illegal gambling room, drugs, and a stolen car. The bust was made today after several weeks of investigating a building near Zarzamora and West French Place. Bexar County investigators say they had a search warrant for drugs and found some on site, along with 30 illegal gambling machines. There was also a stolen car that was being stripped for parts. Several people inside the building were detained, but it's unclear exactly how many will be charged in the case.
Developing tonight, the promise of more of a law enforcement presence coming on the northeast side of town. Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar officially opening a mobile substation on Walsham Road. He says more marked units will be on patrol, and there could also be more covert monitoring as well. He says he's also working with Kirby and Converse police departments on all this. The increase in law enforcement presence comes after a rise in crime in the area. 24-year-old Giovanna Barrera shot and killed in her own driveway after an attempted robbery last week on Terraza. Sheriff Salazar says a couple nights ago, a 56-year-old man run over twice on Old Ham Street. Neither driver stopped. It's also unclear if the man was dead before he was run over. And just last night, a man and a 14-year-old boy killed in a neighborhood near Montgomery and Gibbs Sprawl.
Just we're here to have a cooling effect on the crime in the area. So if it takes us through the holidays to do that, then I guess we're going to be here through the holidays.
The call for last night's shooting first identified as a shooting happening on Whistler, but investigators have now confirmed it actually happened on Rubens Drive. Sheriff Salazar says 20-year-old Robert Smith and a 14-year-old were killed during a failed drug deal that involved several ounces of marijuana.
New tonight, homes under construction targeted for their appliances. Police in New Braunfels releasing video of a man suspected of stealing those appliances. Take a look here. This man was seen on surveillance camera at a convenience store. Officers noted tattoos on both of his arms as he walked through the store. You can see he's wearing a mask, but cameras also caught him pulling down his mask. He has white or blonde facial hair. Anyone who knows who this man is can call New Braunfels Police or the Comal County Crime Stoppers at 830-620-TIPS. You could be eligible for a reward of up to $4,000.
It's a pretty good look at that guy. You still head on the Nightbeat, the major plays from Friday night playoff football. Your fan cam and marching bands and more on the way. Greg Simmons coming up with your big game coverage.
And this former officer accused in a voter fraud conspiracy theory case faces a judge today. Why he had to appear by phone and what he told the court. Coming up.
And a cybersecurity breach causing concern for several federal agencies in the United States. It's next on the Nightbeat.
This SA Salutes holiday greeting is brought to you by Gomez Law Firm.
Hello, my name is Joseph Gomez. This is my wife Lauren and my son JB with the Gomez Law Firm. We'd like to wish all our military personnel and frontline workers a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
A massive cyber breach involving software used by thousands of organizations, including multiple federal agencies. U.S. intelligence officials say the hackers are believed to be from the Russian government. Sources say the breach happened in the spring, was just recently discovered, meaning hackers have had access to victims' networks for months. Several agencies, including the Departments of Commerce, Treasury, Homeland Security, and State, even the National Institutes of Health have been compromised. Russia denies responsibility.
An update on that former Houston officer accused of beating up a man because of a voter fraud conspiracy theory. Mark Anthony Aguirre making his first court appearance today by phone after contracting the coronavirus. Investigators say Aguirre ran an air conditioner repairman off the road and pointed a gun to his head 2 weeks before the election because he thought he was hiding ballots in his SUV. Prosecutors say Aguirre was paid more than $250,000 by a Houston-based private citizens group investigating unsubstantiated 2020 election fraud claims. Aguirre says he will stop doing private investigations of any kind.
Back here at home, a San Antonio area high school marching band taking home a title for the first time in decades. Johnson High School's Jaguar Marching Band won its first state championship for its performance of its 2020 show called Know Who You Are. The last San Antonio high school to win the state marching band championship, MacArthur High, back in 1985.
As a former drum major, I can tell you about the hard work and dedication that goes into those marching bands. It is amazing, that accomplishment.
Yeah, and I think the competition was held at the Alamo Dome, so it's good that one of the home teams
Congratulations,
won.
guys. Yeah.
Look at the pearl.
Looks beautiful out there right now.
I never pegged aces for a drum major.
Yes,
That's awesome.
I played the oboe in band.
Cool.
Too.
You learn new things about these people all the time, right?
Yeah.
I can play like hot cross buns on the recorder, the extent of it. So I really do. I think it's pretty cool what you're able to do with all the instruments out there. It's interesting and neat. Let's talk weather here. We've got some rain on the way. Yes, finally some rain back in the forecast. The clouds have been overspreading Texas, and even some low clouds now that are dropping continually in our sky. Our ceilings continue to drop down right now. They're down to about 1,500 feet, so that's the base of the cloud deck, and they'll continue to lower, and that's going to lead to some drizzle and even some fog and then some areas of rain. Let's take a look at the overall weather pattern. A dip in the upper level flow. This trough goes all the way down. It's basically from the Canadian border southwestward to the Mexican border here down to the desert southwest. And that's pushing our way. It's influencing our weather. It's going to swing a weak cold front through town, and it's going to help squeeze out some of the moisture from these clouds. So we really don't have anything on the radar screen right now. But as we go through the night, we are expecting some areas of light rain to gradually develop. And then through the morning hours tomorrow, around sunrise and even up till about the noon hour, notice 7 a.m. here, some showers, some hit or miss or widely separated showers starting to develop and move through parts of South Texas. I think the best chance of rain is locally and particularly east of town. Those of you along the Rio Grande or in the vicinity of the Rio Grande, odds are against you seeing any real rain tonight and into tomorrow. And actually, we could have some thunderstorms as well, particularly between I-37 and I-10. And notice this is even 11 a.m. I like the representation of this future cast as it shows some of the heavier activity possible, especially east of San Antonio. And then into the afternoon tomorrow, we clear out. Now, Houston could actually get well over an inch of rain here. Locally, I think our potential is up to about 1/4 of an inch, but we could see even more than that. Gonzales, DeWitt, Lavaca, Victoria counties, especially where some of those thunderstorms pop up, and we're not expecting anything severe, but if you get a thunderstorm, you're going to have some heavier rain with it, so you could even see more than 1/4 of an inch there. So let's talk temperatures. 36 was our morning low, then we made it up to 64. Right now, we're 50s in the hill country, 59 Kerrville and Comfort, 62 Stinson, 64 Castroville, 63 at the airport in town. So temperatures haven't really changed over the past several hours. We have the low clouds in place, acting as a blanket. They're insulating us tonight. And also, our dew points are way up, back into the 50s. Temperature can't drop below that number, so there is absolutely no threat of a freeze tonight. Far from it. Mid-50s tomorrow morning, 56 degrees to start the day. A damp Saturday morning. Areas of rain, some drizzle, even a stray thunderstorm or two. And then by the afternoon, it's sunny and comfortable into the upper 60s, but you'll notice a northwesterly breeze. Sunday morning, back down into the upper 30s, but sunny and near 70 into the afternoon. So by and large, despite a damp Saturday morning, it's going to be fairly sunny over the weekend and even into next week. We'll have a lot of sunshine and clear skies. And then a next cold front that hits us on Wednesday. That should cool us off again for Christmas Eve.
All right. Thank you, Adam.
Can you believe we're a week away from Christmas?
Can't wait.
Wow. Can't wait. All right, high school football playoffs tonight.
Yeah, and we're talking about Alamo Heights, who had a great season coming into this game. But remember, they beat this same team 2 years ago. Were they out for revenge? The answer is yes. When we come back, we got the highlights of the big game and our big game playoff coverage. Plus, the new #1 team in 12's Top 12 on the road tonight in Corpus Christi. How do they fare coming up?
We're the Alamo Heights cheerleaders, and you're watching big game coverage on KSAT 12.
Thank you, ladies. A big game and a big game playoff coverage is a postseason rematch for Alamo Heights Mules as they host Georgetown Eastview at Comalander Stadium tonight, the same team they beat in the playoffs 2 years ago. Eastview was out for revenge, and it showed. Peyton Adams connects with Michael Sedgwick on a slant play for the 9-yard touchdown in the first quarter, and they were not done. Still in the first, following a Mules fumble when Adams hits Jeremiah Barron on another slant, this time a 22-yard touchdown. That's when Alamo Heights finally gets on the board on the ensuing kickoff. Jack Sawyer scoops it up, hands it off to Jaden Scott at the 15, and he's bringing it all the way back 85 yards to get the Mules on the board, down 7 points now in the second quarter. Look at that move to break free. But Eastview would score 2 more times before the half is over. Adams with his 3rd touchdown of the night on a 5-yarder to Isaiah Quinton Jackson, and a Marion Brooks from 3 yards out will wrap it up in that first half. The Mules are down 28-7. The final from Comalander, it is 48-14. Georgetown Eastview. What a great season for Alamo Heights. They're eliminated.
It's tough losing tonight, but we had a great season. Going to come back next year strong. It's going to be tough without all those great seniors.
Becoming undefeated district champs, beating Bernie, Tivy. I can't remember the last time we did that. Yeah. I mean, it's a great thing. I mean, it's just an amazing way to go out. I know all these seniors would say the same thing. We went out as champs.
The newly crowned #1 team in 12's Top 12, the Brennan Bears, on the road tonight in Corpus Christi to face Edinburgh Vela in the Class 6A Division II second round of the playoffs. And the Bears were not hibernating. Quarterback Ashton DeBose here lets it fly to wide open Jalen Spells, and this is good for his 63-yard touchdown to push the Bears out to a 7-0 lead. DeBose decides to go to the air again, this time to a very familiar face, Aaron DeBose, who gets behind the defense, and this is for a 50-yard touchdown on a 14-0 lead. The final from Buccaneer Stadium in Corpus Christi. Look at that, 28-3 Brennan. Now let's head to Shelton Stadium in Buda, where Hayes hosted the shorthanded Johnson Jaguars after 10 players tested positive for COVID-19, according to a source, including star quarterback Ty Reasoner. But backup Spencer Hawthorne did a nice job of stepping in. The delayed handoff goes to Benjamin McCreary. He slips one tackle, gets into the end zone for the early Jaguars lead, 7-0. But the Rebels have an answer. Quarterback Durand Hill tucks it, runs right through the teeth of the Jaguars defense. Tie the game is 7-0. Let's see who advances in the third round of Class 6A Division II playoffs. It's still in the fourth. Hayes is leading, just seconds left, 35-31. And take a look at the scoreboard now, the big game coverage scoreboard. Taft and Far San Juan Alamo North, that had to be canceled, but Taft advances the forfeit. There you see still in the fourth, Hayes leading Johnson 35-31. Brennan over Edinburgh Baylor 28-3. 48-14 Georgetown eliminates Alamo Heights. We're in the field, Pflugerville, where undefeated Austin Westlake getting fired up for the Smithson Valley Rangers. The Chaparrals are already up 48-3 in the third, adding to that lead. Running back Zane Miners takes a handout, gets around the corner, goes in untouched for the 8-yard score to make it 55-3. Then it's running back Gray Nakfor bursts right through the middle of the Rangers defense, goes untouched, 42-yard touchdown, 62-3. The final from Pflugerville, 62-3. That is it. The Southwest Dragons hosting Westlaco East tonight at Ferris Stadium, the Class 5A Division I second-round playoff matchup. No score in the first, and the Wildcats attack inside the Dragons' 5-yard line. Quarterback Avery Brown takes a snap, fakes a handoff, goes straight ahead for the first score of the game, 7-0. But the Dragons answer with fire. Quarterback Gio Salazar on the play-action pass goes deep for Andre Mitchell, who makes a nice grab for a 34-yard gain. Now in the second quarter, they switch sides. The Dragons now on the Wildcats' goal line. The pitch goes to Jake Friesenhan, who powers in for the game-time touchdown. The final from Ferris, Southwest is advancing 32-15. They will play the winner Southwest Legacy Titans Class 5A Division I showdown with Veterans Memorial out of Corpus Christi, held at Alamo Stadium tonight. No score first quarter. The Eagles are in scoring position. Running back Noe Garza in the pistol formation takes step, plows straight ahead for the early lead, but the Titans have an answer behind quarterback Zazar Tovar, forced out of the pocket, still makes a great throw on the run to Jorge Pineda, who picks up 31 yards for the Wildcats, 20. Tovar then goes over the middle to Homer Flores, who makes a nice grab in the Eagle back of the end zone to get the Titans back in the game, tied at 7-all. The final from the right pile? Let's go to the big game coverage scoreboard to find out. And Southwest Legacy is eliminated, but Veterans Memorial will now have to play Southwest, who eliminated Wesco East 32-15. Austin Westlake takes care of Smithson Valley. Stevens and Harlingen, that game will be played tomorrow at 3 on Saturday. We are just getting started with our playoff version of big game coverage. Up next, our big game coverage road trip. Fan cam of more highlights and more scores. But first, let's listen to the Southside Cardinals marching band. Our big game coverage road trip has photographer Adam Higgins in the Austin area for 2 games. Steele is in Round Rock, Bernie Champion in Cedar Park tonight, right near the state capitol. Let's take you live right now for all the highlights into the newsroom, and that's where we find our Larry Ramirez. Hey, Larry.
Hey, Greg, thank you very much. You want to know what? 10 years ago today, the Steel Knights won the Class 5A Division II state championship, beating Denton Guyer 24-21. What a team that was. Steel is now Class 6A and looking for another state title. But first, the champion Chargers had a tough matchup tonight. Burning Champion ready to face Liberty Hill in the second round of Class 5A Division II playoffs in Cedar Park. First quarter, Liberty Hill ball. Trey Seward takes a handoff and breaks off a 13-yard touchdown run to make it 7-0. Panthers, they led 14-0 under rainy conditions in the second quarter when Photog Adam left for his next game, which was taking to Reeves Stadium in Round Rock for the Steel Knights and Round Rock Dragons in 6A D1 second round action. Fourth quarter, Steel down 6 and knocking on the door. Quarterback Wyatt Beagle keeps it, runs to the defense for a 17-yard touchdown. I mean, that's what the Arkansas State commit does. Point after was no good, though, and this game was tied at 16. Knights down 3 now. 4th and 16 from the 26 when Beagle finds Rendon Lopez for a clutch toss and catch. Steele would get 3 more, tying this at 19 with 1:25 left, and we are going to overtime. Let's go to the scoreboard now, and you'll see Liberty Hill won 41-0. Leander Rouse wins at 57-28 versus Mercedes. In 2 more scores, look at that. Steele comes back to win 26-19 in overtime, and Mission falls to Laredo United South 42-41 in overtime. So that means the Knights will next face Laredo United South in the 6A Region 4 semifinals. Greg?
Time now for Fan Cam, where your fans help us cover one of the big games and our big game playoff coverage tonight. The Marble Falls Mustangs going up against Sherryland Pioneer from the Valley in the Class 5A Division II playoffs to decide who plays Georgetown Eastview. Eliminate Alamo Heights tonight. The Diamondbacks strike early and often. Quarterback Eddie Marburg goes on top to Joseph Graham for the big 38-yard gain to get out on the Mustangs' 12-yard line. Then running back Taylor Esparza makes some nice moves to get into the end zone. This is for an 11-yard score. It makes it 7-0 at the time. They are not done. Marburger finds Graham again, and check out this nice grab in the end zone for the 38-yard touchdown. When Fan Cam departs, it is 14-0 Diamondbacks. Let's go back to the big game coverage scoreboard for that final. Marble Falls eliminate tonight. As a result, Sherryland Pioneer will play Georgetown Eastview in the next round of the playoffs after they eliminated Alamo Heights.
It'd be somebody who is, first of all, successful enough to be able to afford the project. Sports, cars, Texas, and caring about the community. That's the checklist for the ideal person, and it led right to only one person. Only one person in the whole world could check all those boxes, and that's Red McCombs.
San Antonio businessman and billionaire, co-founder of the Circuit of America's track in Austin, honored by having the first turn at COTA named after him, Big Red, complete with the appropriate condiments. The 3.5-mile track is located in South Austin and hosts everything from the only Formula One race in the United States to NASCAR. Congratulations, Red, and good to see him out. Great to see him.
A fitting honor.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks, Greg.
We'll be right back.
Never miss a story. Watch live or when you want. San Antonio's latest news and weather. Streaming free on KSAT TV.
If you're hoping to look for holiday light displays this weekend, KSAT has you covered. Our web team put together a list of displays you can view from your car while driving through downtown. To see the city's Christmas tree at Travis Park is a great option. There are several others. It's all online right now at KSAT.com.
So many good possibilities out there. Windcrest, of course, as well, but I do want to point out it gets pretty busy, especially on weekends around there. 58 tomorrow morning, some dampness out there to start the day tomorrow with drizzle and a few showers here and there. Then a sunny afternoon and comfortable temperatures this weekend, highs near 70. Low 70s into next week, that is, until our next cold front hits on Wednesday, and that's going to drop us back down to likely freezing temperatures on Christmas Eve and Christmas morning.
Thank you, Adam. That's it for the Nightbeat. GMSA at 6.
Good night.